कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। 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 यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर बनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी।
Welcome to Satsang. We've just had the sacred and holy celebration of Mahashivratri. Yesterday in the night we gathered on the banks of Mother Ganga for such divine and holy puja and celebration. This morning we had a beautiful yagna and then snan on the banks of Mother Ganga. And as we celebrate this presence of Lord Shiva in our life, it's not just about, oh, it's a celebration and the Mort was yesterday afternoon to this afternoon, so ab Mort khatam ho gaya, ab holiday khatam ho gaya, ab kuch aur hoga. It's not that. The whole point of our holidays is to change who we are and how we live in the world. Lord Shiva is that divine energy that clears through us all of that within us, which is holding us back in any way. You know, most of us, when we think about the trinity of the divine presence, and we speak about Lord Brahma as the creator and Lord Vishnu as the sustainer, and we talk about Lord Shiva as the destroyer. Now, here we always say it's not destruction, because destruction implies it's negative, as though somehow something that you really wanted, something that was important, has been destroyed. Lord Shiva is that energy that removes from us all of that holds us back from living as the truth of who we are. And this trinity is not linear, it's cyclical. And so it's not creation, sustenance, destruction. It's a cycle. It's creation, sustenance, dissolution into creation. And so for me, one of the ways that's really simple and yet very beautiful to think about it is like leaves on a tree. We don't get it so much here, but there's parts of the world, and especially in America where I'm from, where in the winter, the green leaves, well, before the winter, in the autumn, they turn red and yellow and orange and brown, and then they fall off the branches. And they fall onto the ground, and then the winter comes and the snow packs them into the ground. And those fallen leaves, those dead, dried leaves, packed under the snow, literally become the soil for the blossoms of springtime. And then again, things blossom and they're green. And then again, in the autumn, they dry and they fall. And it's not linear, but it's cyclical. And so Shankar Bhagwan is this incredible energy of that within us that needs to fall away, needs to be removed. Our ignorance, our illusions, our ego, all of that, the darkness. Not the darkness of who we are, but just the darkness of the ignorance that doesn't know who we are. And so identifies as the ego, as the story. So Lord Shiva is that incredible energy, such that there can be space for the creation of the newness, or rather just the newness of our awareness. That creation has always been there, of the truth of who we are, that divine truth. So here we are, a few hours after the end of the Mort, the end of that auspicious 24-hour time. But the holiday isn't over. It's not that Lord Shiva's energy is over. even as the new moon starts to slowly, we'll start to see little slivers of the moon. But the presence of Lord Shiva is still here. It's not that he's only present on this particular new moon. And so in our lives, whenever we feel stuck inside, unable to move forward inside, unable to let go inside, unable to be free inside, we pray to him. It's that divine energy, that Adi Yogi, that energy of yoga, of union, of oneness with the divine. So here we are in our post-Mahashivratri satsang. And I know we have some questions that have come in advance. I know we also have some questions here. So we'll start with those that came in advance. Yes, sweetie.
Jai Shri Krishna, Sadhviji. The first question is, how do I forgive someone very close to me who has lied to me over the years of my life? What shloka should I recite?
So, before we get to the shloka or the mantra, it's important to understand what is forgiveness anyway? Like, why do we forgive? Yes, all of our spiritual teachings say forgive, but are we doing it just because some guru told us to, or we read some book that said we should? Or there was some prayer or some meme or some share that we saw on social media that made it look like forgiveness was a good thing? Someone we follow online was talking about forgiveness, so we think, oh, I should forgive. If it's just that, it's not going to go very deep. Until you recognize that whether it's the guru, whether it's a scripture, whether it's a book, whether it's some influencer you follow online, until and unless you realize the importance of forgiveness in your life, you'll only go through the motions. You may say, I forgive you, but inside, it'll still kind of fester. And this is where we have to understand that forgiveness is the key to our spiritual freedom. There is nothing that holds us back from the outside more than our inability to let go on the inside. When someone has hurt us, whether one time or 100 times, when we hold on to it, we bring that hurt into the present moment. Whenever they hurt us, it was sometime in the past, whether it was 5 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, or 50 years ago. It was in the past. Because if I'm thinking about forgiveness, I'm already beyond whenever it was that hurt happened. But what I've done if I'm still angry is I'm bringing the past into the present. I'm bringing that hurt into the present moment. I'm the one who's carried it in, not them. They did what they did in the past. I have carried that past into the present moment. It's like jahan jahan mein jati hun apne briefcase leke jaun. Lekin briefcase mein hai kya? All of my anger. Taki I should never be free of it, wherever I go. Make sure, have that briefcase, so God forbid I might be sitting on the banks of Ganga or watching a sunset or in a beautiful moment. I've always got my trusty briefcase I can open to remind me of why I'm really angry, why I'm in pain, why I'm upset. But at some point we grow tired of that. At some point we realize travel is much nicer without this briefcase of grievances, whether it's in my hand or in my mind. And so we forgive because we deserve to be free. We forgive because we deserve to be free. So no matter how many times somebody has hurt you, no matter how badly they have hurt you, you deserve to be free. We ask the wrong questions. We ask, do they deserve to be forgiven? That is the wrong question. That question has no merit. The question, of course, could be, do they deserve to be freed of the karmic fruits of it? But that's not in our hands anyway. That's purely a philosophical question. We don't have the power anyway to change someone else's karmic package. Even if we forgive them fully, they're still going to get their karmic dues. That's the law of nature. So we are not the ones who determine whether they deserve some kind of get out of jail free card for what they've done. We don't have that card. We couldn't give it to them even if we wanted to. The question for us is not do they deserve to be forgiven, but do we deserve to be free? And that is the only question that matters. And so you forgive as quickly as you can, as fully as you can, because you deserve to be free. So no matter what someone has done, how many times they've done it, you forgive. Because that anger and that grudge is what is standing between you and freedom.
The next question. I started meditating 4 months ago and I found great benefits, so I quit antidepressants after 7 years. I started taking them after my husband killed my sister. Now I'm experiencing increased anxiety and depression again. I have 2 children, I'm all alone, and life isn't easy. If I need to start taking antidepressants again, will this affect my meditation practice?
So this is a great question. How many people here have ever felt really sad and broken in your life? Great. So we're unanimous of those of us here. I imagine that those of you watching are also unanimous. We've all felt sad and broken. Most of us have not had to deal with the life event of one family member killing another. That is extreme. That is an incredible life experience and challenge that you have been given. That is not the stuff that normal, run-of-the-mill sadness and frustration, despair is created out of. For you to be in a situation where you lose your husband and you lose your sister at the same time because he killed her, I mean, it would be tragic enough if the two of them died in a car accident together. You would still lose them both together. But here you've also lost faith, presumably. After all, you did walk around a fire with him or have a wedding of some other religious tradition, whatever religion you're from. You've engaged in the rites and rituals of promises, of vows together. You've built up in your mind a life of what this being is going to be. So not only is he no longer in your life, but that whole faith in the universe has been taken with him as well. And I mention this because a lot of times these days, now that we have medication for depression, we've gotten very used to taking it. We've gotten very used to saying, oh, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated, I really should take some medicine. Or people around us say, let it go. Take some medicine. You're too sad. Antidepressant medicine is not meant to be that which we take instead of dealing with life's experiences. It is supposed to be there for people for whom the chemicals of the medicine correspond in a positive way to chemical imbalances that they are having in their brains, which some people who suffer from depression exhibit. And for those people, the medicine that changes the chemistry impacts their brain chemistry in a very positive way. But here's the issue. You need to heal. You don't just need to be medicated. Now, if you said, I am so depressed that I'm actually suicidal, or I can't get out of bed in the morning, and the antidepressants are the only thing that keep me from killing myself, or the only thing that help me get out of bed, I would say take them. By all means, take them. While you engage in the healing. The medicine is not going to heal you. You've got some real healing work to do. And I would really strongly recommend that you engage with a person, a teacher, a spiritual guide, a therapist, a counselor, a group, something that can help you really come out of this. You don't have some kind of a chemical imbalance that is causing depression. You've been traumatized. You've got a lot going on neurologically. You've got a lot going on emotionally. You've got a lot going on every aspect of your being. Surround yourself with people whom you can trust. And if they're not family members, friends, a temple community. Again, I'm not sure what religion you come from, but all of our religions, whether it's temples, churches, gurdwaras, mosques, there's communities, there's groups, there's support groups. Join a group. Come together with people. Find a community that can support you. And slowly, slowly, slowly you will heal. Don't worry right now about antidepressants' impact on your meditation. With what you've been through, if you are able to be in a state of meditation and you are able to be quiet and still and find the space between your thoughts, find that experience of love in your heart, of peace in your heart, you are doing great. You are really doing great. And if you need the antidepressants right now, take them. Your meditation will be fine. Absolutely fine. Do not worry. What is most important is that you heal. And I don't know where you are in the world, but you're also welcome to come here to Rishikesh and be with us here on the banks of Mother Ganga. So if that's something that's feasible for you, just know that you're welcome here as well. Yes.
This little boy had a lot of questions.
And he has gone to sleep.
Swamiji was sitting here and he was asking something. He was asking me, is he God?
Aha. Very sweet. So we have a very sweet young boy with us here who has had a very full day and has just collapsed in sleepness, which is beautiful and so perfect and such a place. About half an hour ago, he was just bubbling with, I have so many questions, I have so many questions. Will you answer all my questions? For him, we shifted from Friday meditation to Friday satsang for his questions. And yet, it's that beautiful space of drifting into those experiences where the questions dissipate, like sleep in the beautiful lap. But before he fell asleep, his family is saying he was sitting here with Puja Swamiji having darshan, and he asked, is Puja Swamiji God? So we'll answer it for him, and when he wakes up, you can share the answer with him. Yes and yes. So, yes, in that you are also God. Sleeping Beauty, you are also God. Your mom is God. Your dad is God. Your auntie is God. Your Didi is God. Everyone is. This is one of the most beautiful and core teachings in our scriptures. The Upanishads remind us that the entire universe is pervaded by the divine. Isha vasyamidam sarvam, yat kincha jagatyam jagat. The whole universe, everyone, everything, pervaded by the divine. If we're pervaded by the divine, we are divine. We chant, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the divine. I am that supreme reality. We chant Soham, I am that, the capital T that, I am all. I am the creator in the creation. I am the entire universe. I am that. So yes, he is God. And you are God. And the beautiful tree growing is God. And the blade of grass is God. Because all of this creation is a reflection of, an embodiment of the divine. We've been created not by the Creator, as though the Creator were somehow just an artist who were painting us or sculpting us. But we've been created of the Creator. So that same divinity that is the Creator is us. Now, there's a caveat here. And the caveat is that that's like saying the drop of water is the ocean. Microscopically, yes, if you look at a drop of water under the microscope, it is indistinguishable from the ocean. It is the ocean. And it can't sustain life the way the ocean can sustain life. You're not going to get a family of whales to live in a drop of water. You can't swim in a drop of water. You can't surf on a drop of water. So there's the aspect of the scope. when we fully experience the truth of who we are, then we become like the drop that merges back within the ocean. And that's where that spiritual power comes from, because then you're no longer a drop, then you're the ocean. Even before we have that awareness, even before we have that awakening, that enlightenment, that experience, we're still the divine. Like a drop is still the ocean, whether it knows it or not. But a drop that's separate from the ocean is just that, it's a drop. Full of the potential, full of the inner truth, but not yet able to activate it. But when that drop merges back with the ocean, then it's indistinguishable. Then it is ocean. And so the second yes about Puja Swamiji is, you could think of him as the drop that has merged with the ocean. Or rather, the drop that never was separate from the ocean. So that same divinity that flows through him flows through you. But you don't know it. Which means that you're not able to harness and live it and be it and share it the way that he is. We believe that the enlightened beings come here onto earth not because they have to. We're all here even as drops of ocean, but we're here because we have to be, because we've taken this cycle of birth and death and birth and death, and we have a karmic package that needs to be worked out. There's some very specific karmic fruit from past lives that we are here to work through, to finish off, whether bitter or sweet, either way. But the divine incarnations, or the avatars, or the enlightened beings like Puja Swamiji have come not because they have to be here, but they've come out of choice, they've come out of grace to help us and show us the way. So you can think about it also like being in jail. So in jail there's two types of beings. Everybody's there, but you've got the prisoners who are there fulfilling a sentence. They're there because they have to be there. There's a certain number of days or years they have to fulfill, or a certain amount of hours of labor that they have to do before they're free. But then you've got the jailers, the ones who come by choice. They've got the key. They open the door on their own volition. They close the door on their own volition. They come and go however they'd like. They're not stuck. Even when they're in the jail, the prisoners are miserable because they know we're stuck. But the jailers are not miserable because they know I'm here by choice and I can leave anytime I want to. So maybe next time you are awake, next time you have the opportunity to be with Puja Swamiji, you could ask him a very beautiful and very special question, which is, how can I also find that key? How can I also merge back with the ocean? And you can ask it in your own way, but I think that would be a very useful and very beautiful question to ask him. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, beautiful morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's such a joy to be able to come together with our global family online. There was a period where we were only in person for years with this garden full of people. Then with COVID, we went only online. And I was talking just into a camera for so many months. And now, by the grace of God, with the rates of COVID coming so down in India and people really recovering beautifully, and our government's doing such great jobs keeping the numbers down, things have opened. The ashram is open, observing, of course, all of our COVID protocols of masks and social distancing, but nonetheless, we are open. So if you are in India and able to come, you are more than welcome. If you are abroad and have a citizenship or visa or OCI or some way of getting in at the moment, I know there's some restrictions on who can come in and who's not yet able to come in, but if you can come, just know that you're welcome. If it's safe for you to travel, know that you're welcome here. And so much love to all of you until the time that we can all be together here on the banks of Mother Ganga.
ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः